Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Winner's Circle. We are here with Franck from Alcon. He is the head of global R&D, and they are the overall winner in the big innovation awards, which we announced this morning. We are so excited to have you on, Franck. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and give us a little bit of background about Alcon for those of us that don't know you.
My name is Franck Leveiller. I am the Chief Scientific Officer. I am the Global Head of R&D. I have been in this position since 2018. And I'm very happy actually because my organization contributes together with all the other functions of Alcon um, to lead innovation in eye care. We are a 10 billion revenue company. We are the leader in eye care in the world. We serve more than 140 countries, and our focus is really our customers, the patients, and the eye care providers, the doctors.
Yeah, and I'm going to step back because I want to get into Alcon because I didn't know a lot about you guys. And when I read your nomination and I read all the judges' feedback, and just so everybody knows, you won for the Alcon Unity VCS. And this is a really unique device. You're going to tell us about it, but you're basically taking two completely separate devices that were in the operating room, joining them into one and making it super modular. And that's what's so innovative here is you guys have really, well, first of all, the scores were outrageous on your nomination. It was higher than anything we've really seen in a long time. And it was like percentages higher, which is rare for us. So you guys have done something right here. So tell us a little bit about this Alcon Unity VCS and what you've done, because it's pretty amazing.
First of all, I'm really glad to hear the scores are really good and our innovation has been well appreciated. Indeed, I mean, what is it about? Unity VCS is a console that is used in the operating room for front of the eye and back of the eye procedures. Any kind of front of the eye, any kind of back of the eye procedure. And actually, the big innovation around this console is that for the first time, we have combined both. We have combined actually two consoles into one with a very small footprint. And it's also a revolutionary system because it encompasses more than 12 first ever innovations. And the key benefits, I would say, for the users, the doctors, the surgeons, it provides a unique workflow efficiency. It spares a lot of space in the OR because it's two consoles into one, and the footprint is like one console in a way. Also, the nurses in the operating room, when they have to set up the system, prepare it for the patient, etc. And another big thing, big benefit about this system is that it allows the surgeons now to perform the procedure at a more physiological intraocular pressure, which has some advantages for the patient.
Well, and I had some unique experience, not unique, I guess, absolutely not unique. My father went through this. God, must have been 30 years ago. I think on Christmas Eve, he had a detached retina, cataract, glaucoma in one, and was in the hospital for a couple days. And I imagine your machine would have saved a lot of time and energy in dealing with that. And it was very scary for us. And it seems now you've packaged this thing in such a way, and I've seen the videos where it's so modular that if any little bit goes wrong, you can pull that part, replace that part, and get it back into the operating room really quick. And that's gotta be really critical for your OR operators in terms of getting equipment back online and using again.
It makes it much more easier for them, number one. And as you say, when anything happens, they can quickly remediate that thanks to this modular approach in the design of the machines.
Yeah, and now you guys seem to be hitting kind of the sweet spot right at the right time. Our population is definitely aging, and I know a lot of these eye care issues are kind of age related. And so we've got this aging population. You also have kind of a, I guess, more democratization or more of access to healthcare. And so you've got this kind of eye crisis, as we call it. And I know we all sit in front of these screens more often, and that's not doing us any good either. So you guys are really kind of trying to address that problem of probably capacity of just having, more doctors available to do more procedures.
You are spot on, Russ. A lot of eye diseases are indeed driven by age, and we all know that with better healthcare and conditions of living, people age longer. So the demand for procedures in the eye due to diseases linked to age is increasing year after year. For example, any human being that will live long enough will need to have at some point cataract surgery. For 90% of the people, it starts at the age of 60, around 60. And then when you go a little bit beyond, you will have to go through that. There is currently, I would say, 1.6 billion patients that suffer from dry eye. And there are 1.8 billion people suffering from presbyopia. So indeed, there are a lot of unmet needs. If you look at cataract procedure, today there is a demand of about 30 million procedures. By 2050, the demand will have increased to 100 million procedures. And the thing is, not only the demand is increasing, but as a problem, the number of surgeons who do these procedures is going down. For example, if you take the example of the US, the number of surgeons is going to decrease by 12% by 2035. So it's like an impossible problem to solve, right? And how can we, Alcon, contribute to that? Well, precisely by developing equipment, accessories that help the surgeons be more efficient, such that during a day they can make more cases. Or if they deal with complex cases, they can deal with them faster than they would normally. So that's what this thing is helping with. And of course, efficiency is one thing, but also increasing the safety of the patient is very important. So that's what we try to do. So we have an impact in a way to try to solve this problem.
And I love how you kind of went about it. I know you guys spend a lot of money, and I mean a lot of money on R&D. I think 8 or 10% is what I remember reading. And you've got a huge organization, which of course you have to, right? Developing these new procedures and products and everything else. But this was one really unique, or maybe not unique for you guys, but I love when I see this and it's co-creation of product. And you worked with like 2,500 doctors to build this device. And I think that's probably really what set it off in the judge's mind is it was such a co-created piece of equipment and technology. Tell us a little bit about that kind of co-creation model that you have and how it came to, be for the Unity.
Well, I would start by saying first that, Alcon is more than 75 years old as a company. And it was founded by two persons, Mr. Alexander and Mr. Connor. So when they joined their names, it made Alcon, Alexander Connor. And Mr. Connor was actually the first head of R&D at Alcon. And so he was my predecessor. And he used to say, at Alcon, we see the needs of the patients through the eyes of the eye care practitioner. And so this has been the thing for Alcon, being very close to the surgeons, to the users, and to the patients as well, to understand the needs and to try to design with them, with their inputs, to understand their problems and with their input design the real devices, equipment, consoles, accessories that really meet their needs. And to do that, we interact with a lot of them. We have a network across the world because we also develop for the world, not only for the US or Switzerland. We are a Swiss company. We develop for Japan, we develop for Asia, we develop for Europe, we develop for US. So when we start a project like Unity VCS, we engage them, we engage a lot of them, and we have a diversity of doctors from all over the world. And we don't engage them in a one-off thing. We tell them, you're going to follow the project as if they were part of the team. This is very unique. I don't think many other companies are doing that. So the doctors are super excited, of course, because they feel they are part of it. And at the end, when the product is launched, they think they were part of the design, which is very important. And so they go into this adventure wholeheartedly, I would say. But we don't only work with the doctors, the nurses also use our instruments quite a lot. They set up the machine prior to the procedure, they help put it in the right settings and so on for a given doctor. They deal with all problems of ergonomics and so on. So we organize a lot of ad board meetings with them as well, with nurses, to get their feedback. And they give us a lot of good feedback on the ergonomics. For example, they would tell you, we don't want to have cables linking a pedal to the console. Please eliminate the cable. We don't like this tray. When I move around, it's always on my way. Please find a way or place it differently such that it doesn't bother us in the OR. Things like that. In
Yeah.
addition to this, so these meetings with the doctor, these ad boards with doctors and nurses, we also organize a lot of wet labs. So we bring them to our R&D centers, we show them the machines, and we have them do experiments, use the machine on human cadaver eyes or animal pig eyes. And that's a way, prior to being able to do that on patients, on real patients, that's a way to gain a lot of feedback as well. So it's a whole process, it's part of our innovation process. We include and we get all this feedback. Not only that, we have a lot of people at Alcon that are facing the customers all the time. Some clinical application scientists, some field service engineering people. They ensure the maintenance or the serviceability of the equipment once it's launched. And they hear what the doctors tell them. They also know what are the most common breakdowns that happen. And they tell us, R&D, if you could fix that, that would make our life and our customers' life better. So it's a whole, holistic approach that we are having, such that we really develop very reliable, high quality equipment that really meets the need of the doctor and at the end ensure the clinical outcomes for the patients.
Yeah, and now when I imagine you started working with these doctors to develop this machine, in the very beginning. It wasn't like it didn't just happen. So what was so significant about getting to the front of the eye and the back of the eye that made this machine so innovative? What's the, are you when surgeons are going in, are they usually doing the front and the back at the same time, or are those different procedures?
It depends, and it depends on the country as well. Because, for example, if you are in the US, people are more specialized. You have cataract refractive surgeon, usually, and you have vitreoretinal surgeon. So for the front or the back, you don't necessarily deal with the same surgeons. But for some other regions of the world, I'm thinking Europe, I'm thinking Asia as well, some countries, the same doctors can do front and back of the eye surgeries. And if you have two consoles, you have to stop in the middle. When you go from front to back, you would have to stop the machine and make sure the second machine is set up on time. Whereas here now with this console, you can just go seamlessly from the front to the back of the eye without losing time. Again, efficiency gains. And since you work with the same machine, all your settings are already in the machine. The user interface doesn't change, right? So a lot of advantages in having all in one machine, actually.
Oh, it's gotta be such a huge time saving. Like you were saying earlier, the nurses and setup, it's setup of one machine, not two. And I saw here how you guys design this. It's very modern, and we'll be showing some clips in the video. But it's very modern, and it looks like amazingly easy to set up. I'm sure I'm making it too easy. But now one of the other things in this device, and it's personal interest to me, I was in the laser game for a little bit on the telecommunications side, shooting lasers with data in it. You guys are actually using lasers to help with the eye care. Tell us about the multi-spot laser, if you can.
We have developed specifically for Unity VCS a multi-spot laser probe. For example, when a patient has a retinal tear or a retinal detachment, usually you need to use a laser to fix that problem. And normally, until now, people were using a one spot laser and you have to do a lot of spots. Now you can choose. With this machine, you can do one spot at a time, or two spots at a time, or four spots at a time. So we made some time in motion studies, and we could show by using four times spots instead of one, actually, you can be three times faster in doing this operation. So again, another advantage for the patient and for the doctor.
Yeah, so I always think in these practical applications of I studied Six Sigma, and I went through that whole optimization, learning and education. And one of the big philosophies is driving out process, right? You're trying to reduce the number of processes because those can just cause error. And so you guys have reduced a lot of these processes, reduces errors, reduces time. What does it really kind of mean to that doctor in that practice? Are they able to see another patient a day? Are they able to do a procedure a day? What's that kind of at scale for them?
Well, I think there are several advantages for the doctors, but the efficiency is one. They can do probably easily one more case per day, or in case they have a complex case, they could do it faster. So it will have less impact during the day because usually you have a lot of patients queued for their procedure during the day. And if you have one case that takes longer, then it has an impact on all the other cases. So it reduces that impact dramatically. The other aspect, which is very important for the doctor as well, is safety. We would never compromise speed, for safety. It has to be speed, but with also very high safety. So that's what this machine does, and that's what it means to the doctors.
Yeah, and I want to switch gears for just a second and now pick your brain as head of global R&D. Now, so you are on the business side, you're managing this tremendous organization. You've got an incredible company behind you giving you great budget to go tackle some big problems and address some real issues with humanity. I think I read you guys have spent $5 billion since 2018. What's your philosophy on managing that, and how do you go about kind of allocating it for the right projects?
So, first of all, allocating, as I told you at the beginning, we are not lacking of unmet needs in ophthalmology. So there are a lot of things to do. So we have more ideas for projects than we can fund, despite the fact that our budget is quite significant, right? In 2026, R&D spend will be around close to $1 billion, really. So, but we have many more ideas. So we need to prioritize. And to do that, we use a scoring system and we look at different dimensions. Is this project really aligned with our strategy of Alcon? So is there a good strategic fit with where we are trying to go with Alcon? Of course, there are some financial aspects with, is there a business case? What is the internal rate of return? Things like that. The timeline, when is it going to launch as well? What is the probability of success? A lot of dimensions. So we do a scoring system and we rank the projects. And then we also, so that gives a list with a ranking. And then we do some checks and balances. We also try to have a healthy ratio between incremental and breakthrough innovation. Most top quartile companies dedicate 70% of their budget to incremental innovation and 30% to breakthrough. So we do a lot of checks and balances. And we have different franchises. We have surgical and we have vision care. Vision care, there is contact lens, an ocular health, and a pharma part of it. In surgical, we have intraocular devices and we have equipment and accessories. So we try to see what is the right balance between all these segments that we are addressing. So that's how we prioritize and we end up every year. It's a dynamic process and it allows us to fund at best, and choose where we put the money. How do we deal in terms of delivering the projects within R&D? Well, as you said, we have about more than 2,000 people who wake up every day in R&D with only one focus, which is having an impact in ophthalmology. So it starts with the talent. Fortunately, because we are the leader in eye care, we are lucky because any scientist who really wants to have an impact on millions of patients, of course, you would want to join Alcon. Secondly, I would say, Alcon R&D, we have a reputation for keeping a very high standard of scientific rigor, which is very important. And, we project manage our projects, so innovation is not always, it could be thought as a fun process. Of course, we are having fun because we develop great products, but it demands a lot of discipline. We have project leaders. Leadership of projects is very important. And we have a lot of processes to try to follow a plan and deliver all the milestones that will eventually lead to registration of the product and then launch of the product. So it's a whole organization. It demands a lot of skills. The point I always make about R&D is that, in my opinion, R&D is a people business. If you get the brains, if you have the brains, and people are inspired by what they do, which is usually the case at Alcon because our purpose, helping patients see brilliantly, is really resonating to people. There's nothing more pleasing when you see a patient thanking a doctor for a procedure, and the doctor says, and if I hadn't used Alcon equipment, I wouldn't have had these clinical outcomes. This is like fantastic because the gift of vision is probably one of the among the most important for a human being. So that's how we operate in R&D. And I want to add one more thing, Russ, which is very important. We dedicate a budget for internal projects, but we are also very agnostic as to where innovation comes from. We are very creative at Alcon, but the world is full of creative people elsewhere. So we have engaged in a network with a lot of startup companies in ophthalmology, network of academic institutions, universities, and so on. We know what's going on in the world, in the US, in Americas, in Europe, in Asia. And when people have good ideas, we fund them, we invest. We have an Alcon seed fund where we can seed money to early stage startup companies. And then through our BD&L, business development and licensing process, we can increase that funding when we see that they deliver things and that actually the probability of success is increasing. And at some point, we tell these companies, hey, that's great, we love it. Now it's time for us to take it because we are a big development machine. So we have a very good symbiotic relationship, I would say, with a network of companies. So we complement the internal innovation with external innovation, which help us, do more, number one, and also really position ourselves as the innovator in eye care.
Well, it's so heartwarming to hear you say kind of that your team and your people are making up the, are really the innovative drivers behind Alcon. Because I agree with you 1,000,000%. We can't do this without people. That's why I'm in this business, this crazy recognition and awards business, is to get recognition for the right people. Right, we're on this earth doing great things. We might as well get some recognition for it. You're clearly doing something right, Franck. Your people love you. The judges loved you. Congratulations on this win. This is, like I said before, the scores are really telling in this one, and the feedback that we got from all the judges was really telling about how impactful and how practical this product was. And you guys showed that with great ease. It seemed like. So, congratulations to you again.
Russ, thank you very much for your kind words. And also, we are very honored to be the winner of this award. We are very grateful to all the people who voted to us. And we are also very grateful to all our customers who work with us and who enable us to develop these fantastic products that delight the customers and the patients. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, congratulations.